on the land and the territory. Hull, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Attawandaron, the Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walked before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us. Today, April 28th, is also the Yom HaShoah, which is Holocaust Remembrance Day, and it is the National Day of Mourning. So for Yom HaShoah, we do honor the memory of the 6 million Jews dehumanized and murdered by the Nazis simply because they were Jewish. To those who survived the atrocities of Auschwitz, Birkenau death camps, and other concentration camps and ghettos, like my grandmother did, two of her siblings and niece, my grandfather, and some very lucky Polish relatives. Thank you for your strength, resilience, and perseverance in rebuilding your lives in Canada, the United States, and in Israel. We will never forget. Also, in 1984, the Canadian Labour Congress established April 28th as the National Day of Mourning in Canada to remember and honor those who have died, been injured, or suffered illness in the workplace. The date was chosen in 1984 when the Canadian Labour Congress proclaimed the day to coincide with the 70th anniversary of the day the first Ontario Workers' Compensation Act was approved by the government. The Day of Mourning was enshrined in national legislation by an Act of Parliament on February 1st, 1991. The Day of Mourning is also known as Workers' Memorial Day and is officially recognized in about 100 countries worldwide. Seth, if you would like to pass the minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Sherry, for that. So if we can go ahead and pass the minutes on February 10th, 2022 for the PIC committee. I believe we need a motion. Superintendent Flahat, do we need a motion or we just go ahead and pass it?
Well, I think that you can create that motion and somebody could pass that.
Yeah, okay, so if we can get.
Yep, I think I'll make the motion to accept and pass the minutes from the February 10th meeting. Do we have someone to second it? Andrea, will you second the motion? Great, thank you.
Okay, great. Next item on the agenda is we've got a special guest from E.J. James Public School, a student. Jasmine is joining us today. And Jasmine is going to describe a very innovative initiative that's been undertaken at E.J. James Public School. It's called a career portal. And I'll talk a little bit about the background of it, and I'll let Jasmine go ahead and really describe it to us. But the reason the career portal was started was for really two reasons. One, to showcase the talent within the parent community. Parents at all schools have really interesting jobs, careers, and vocations. And we thought it would be great to highlight those particular jobs. What we did is we put it on the intermediate grades to ask them what careers they were interested in potentially. And I say we because my children go to E.J. James Public School as well. And we were sent a long spreadsheet of really, really interesting careers that the students wanted to learn about. So then we decided to put it out to the parent community to see who resided within the parent community that wanted to share their career over a video interview. So these interviews have been happening. recorded and posted, and we're really focusing on anybody that wants to contribute their career, but also trying to put a little bit of an emphasis on women that are doing really interesting things, and also racialized parents as well. So Jasmine, if you want to go ahead, the floor is yours.
So do you mind presenting the slideshow?
Yeah, just 1 second.
Thank you.
Let's pull that up. Jasmine, I'm having a bit of technical difficulties
Okay.
getting access through the meeting to it. Would you have it, and would you like to share it? Do you have it on your machine at all?
You'll need to unshare yours. If you want to unshare.
Okay.
Do you have the ability to share it, Jasmine? I can look for it as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it up and see if I can share it.
There it is, Jasmine. I think it's up on the screen. Superintendent Flatt was able to pull it up.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Jasmine. I'm a grade 8 student from E.J. James Public School, and I'm part of the Career Portals team. You can go to the next one. So here's what we do. Basically, we interview the parents of students from around the school. It's run by grade 7 and 8 students around the school, and it helps students decide what careers they might want to pursue in the future. So for example, I interviewed a lawyer, and just this afternoon, I interviewed a journalist over Google Meet. So here are a few of the jobs or roles that the students can take on. So an interviewer or interviewee. So this person's job is to interview the parents that volunteer to be part of the career portals. There are helpers. So normally there are 1 to 2 helpers for each meeting. And this person's or people's job is to assist the interviewer or interviewee during the filming. So they sit off camera and just make sure that everything runs smoothly. And then there's also the technology crew, which normally consists of 2 to 3 people. And so this person's or people's job is to ensure that technology is running smoothly before and during the Google Meet. They also edit the interviews before they go online. So these are a few pictures of us in the beginning stages of the career portals, where we were creating questions to ask the parents and also practicing how we can ask the parents different questions, and basically making sure that everyone hears all the messages that the parents have to say. Here are a few of the questions. So these questions were created by the whole career portal team. Can you please tell us your name and what your career is? What steps do you have to take to be able to do your career? What education and experience does one need? How does your job help the rest of the community? And what is one interesting story about your job that you would like to share? Overall, starting up a career portal team at our school was a great way to get students involved in an extracurricular activity and for children around the school to learn about different careers they might want to pursue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. That was great. That was really great. Now, you might be wondering why we decided to bring such an amazing idea to the Parent Involvement Committee. What's been happening with the career portal, ironically, is there are more parents now reaching out because they want to showcase their careers. So that's a way that we've been kind of eliciting some more parent involvement from parents. And now that the parents are engaging with the school, and these are some parents that have never engaged with the school really before, we're now able to get them maybe engaged in helping with other activities and other initiatives as well. So it's been a win-win-win scenario so far. Jasmine, thank you again for that.
No problem.
Superintendent Flahet, I believe, has a comment or a question.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say, thank you for being here this evening. I know you probably have homework to do and whatnot. We're going to try very hard not to keep you, but I'm sure that there are people out there that might be thinking to themselves, wow, this is incredible. How do we get started with something like this? Do you need any special equipment in order to record people? Did you invite them into the classroom, or did you do it virtually? Some students might be interested, and some parents that are watching right now might be interested in talking to their schools about that. Would you be able to let us know a little bit about how you started it all?
Yeah, so firstly, my name is Howarth, one of the student success teachers at the school. She went to the intermediate classes to see any volunteers that wanted to be part of the career portals. And after we got a group together, we started coming up with questions and different ways that we could interview the parents. So because of COVID, we haven't really been able to have parents come into the school. So we've been doing the interviews over Google Meet. And to answer your question about what we need to start it up, mainly it's just questions and then interviewers, helpers, and editors, and just a computer. And then you can record it with Screencastify or within the Google Meet.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's a really simple way to move things forward in schools. And it's really about people having a desire. How did your friends or your colleagues, the other students in the class, react to, parents coming in and sharing their career profiles? How do people feel about that?
I think that there were quite a few students that were pretty engaged with, one, the career portals, and two, watching the videos of the parents. Then there were some that probably didn't really know that you could learn about careers. But for me, it's a really fun experience. And I think that my peers also think the same.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for answering my question. And I can tell you that when I was in middle school, there is no way anybody can get me to come to a meeting and talk in front of a bunch of adults. So, amazing work. And I know that you are someone that's going places with that. Certainly, one of these days, we're going to have to get you to come back and share about your career pathway. Well, thank you again. I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
There are two more questions. Trustee Gray?
Yes, thank you very much. Jasmine, thank you for that presentation tonight. I had a question, and that was just regarding your student colleagues at your school. If you were to sort of rate the experience for them on a range of 1 to 10, what would you say they would say? And what was the number one learning that they've had from this experience so far?
I'm not sure what my peers would rate it. I have to say probably above a 5, because I know that a few of them were more engaged than others. And for your question about what like their experiences were. I guess it kind of depends on what roles they chose. So for me, being an interviewee, I kind of learned more about talking to parents and becoming more confident in my talking skills. For the helpers, maybe it might be something that they want to pursue when they get older, like being a standby in a TV show or something like that. And for the editors, it gives them the experience of editing videos. Maybe they want to get into filmmaking and stuff like that.
Right. Well, thank you, Jasmine. As Eamon has said, this is an experience or an initiative that I could see adapted and adopted in many different schools that might find this way forward. So I hope that you and all of your crew are open to helping make sure that this initiative is replicated throughout our board. Thank you so much, Saad and Jasmine.
Thank you. And we've got last question by my co-chair, Sherry. Sherry, go ahead.
Well, Jasmine, thank you for sharing as well. And I'm just curious, because with all the different parents that you've interviewed, has that changed or given you some ideas of a career path that you would want to pursue or maybe hadn't thought of before?
It's definitely made me think about maybe there are different careers that I might be interested in. It's also taught me a lot about, like, just this afternoon when I said I was interviewing a journalist, she said that it's important to follow what your heart wants in life. And so it taught me that, like, okay, I have to do what I think is going to be right for me and what I think is going to give me the most enjoyment in life.
And do you know what that is so far, or you haven't decided yet? Not that I think at this age you would know, but
I know that I want to get into something in the medical field, like becoming, like, something to do with pediatrics, especially.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks again, Jasmine. Okay, Sherry, I believe on the agenda, it's over to you. Conference update.
Thank you again, Jasmine.
Eamon, do we have an official word on the conference?
I think so. At this time, I believe the last time we met with the PIC reps, and the feedback that we got from folks at that time was that they didn't feel that a conference at this point in time was something that they wanted. And there was a survey that was sent out, and there was some mixed feelings about that as well, because people felt like many of the schools, well, almost not all, but many of the schools applied for PRO grants, and they've been bringing in virtual speakers into their schools. And so many of the schools felt that there was so many virtual presentations at this time, and if there was an opportunity to bring in a speaker or two before now and the end of the year, they felt that that would be quite beneficial. And that's the feedback that we got as a team when we did the PIC reps meeting the last time. Saad, if there's something that you want to add, or Sherry, I believe that's what was shared with us.
And I know that we did mention that we would try and look into having other speakers. Again, we have one more meeting in the end of May, and we were going to discuss having some speakers come to that meeting as well. So I think just so we don't have too many people having Zoom burnout, and that was the best way to do that. And then hopefully planning again once next year starts and we're able to go back to doing an in-person event, that's what we will focus on.
Yeah, nothing to add from my end. I think you both summed it up.
That's great. Jean, it does look like that, put it over to Eamon to introduce you. I don't know if Tanya is safely at her destination yet, but it is time for the trustee updates.
Thank you, Sherry. And it's my pleasure to have our trustees, Trustee Jean Gray, Trustee Tanya Rocha, and Trustee Kelly Amos, who was not able to join us, sent her regrets this evening. So I'm going to pass over the floor to Trustee Jean Gray to give the trustee report.
Okay, thank you very much. I have two parts to this report. One is just a little bit of information coming from the board table, and also a little bit of information about some initiatives that have been taking place. Trustees at the board table have been very, very busy. In fact, we held a special meeting recently to discuss the topic of masks and mask mandates. We have gone very, very deep into this subject. I think if you were following any of our board meetings and also the special meeting that took place, you would know that we have really gone deep into this topic and have been satisfied to have the director put a special notice out that we highly recommend that students and staff continue to wear masks, but of course we are not mandating it, nor is it being mandated by the Ministry of Education. And welcome, Tanya. I'm very pleased to see you there to help through this. Also, trustees have been busy with the policies and procedures around school naming and renaming, and we've got some more work to be done in that area. There's a very active committee, the Trustee Promotion and Onboarding Committee, that's very busy working right now to promote the notion of sharing information on what it is to be the role of trustee, and some of the aspects of around the job, and I guess identifying resources for people that may wish to run for that position. You may know that this is a year where the municipal elections take place this fall. It's the end of the 4-year term, and so people will be identifying themselves as being interested in running for a role as trustee. And so we're hoping through the work of this committee to have this posted on our board website to help anyone out there in the community who may be interested to run for the position of school board trustee. I might add that another thing that's been sort of exciting has been some recent announcements with regards to funding of some additional schools in Halton Region, but also an announcement regarding tutoring and community partnerships. That's ministry funding that's coming by way of the board to the tune of $5.7 million, money that has to be spent by December 31st. That money is going to help quite a bit with the initiative on helping students in their learning gaps. I'm just going to read a passage here in a recent report from the director, and that is that we will be using this funding to provide opportunities both during the school day and outside of the school day for students. Some of the funding will be used to provide increased opportunities for small group instruction during the school day in elementary schools. A number of programs outside of the school day for secondary students will take place, and some of the funding will be used to augment the programs already offered by the HDSB by Gary Allen's Learning Center. So this is a very big win. It's unfortunate. The only hiccup in this transfer of funds as part of our grants for student needs is that this money has to be spent by December 31st. We as a board would have very much wished to have this money being spent over a longer period of time, because learning is a journey and identifying gaps will take longer. And it seems with the time that we have remaining in this particular school year and then in the fall up to December 31, there'll be a real push in this area. But nevertheless, we would be very, I still want to say that we're very appreciative of the funding that we've received from the ministry on that. I want to go into something that happened last night, just a really good, warm, fuzzy, positive, feel-good evening last night. And that was an evening that was provided by the Halton Learning Foundation in conjunction with Cogeco Cable, where they spotlighted student talent around the region of Halton. And if you were able to tune in last night from 7 to 9, you would have been introduced to a number of students displaying their talents everywhere from piano playing, violins, dancing, singing, and even there was a band that played. And it was a wonderful, positive evening on two accounts. One, the students were highlighted in their talents and given an opportunity to showcase those talents. And as you know, in some of this past couple of years, we haven't had those fulsome community-based events being able to happen where students have been on stage within their own schools. And so this was a very positive step forward for these students. But secondly, the Halton Learning Foundation was able to bring a little of information forward about the foundation, about what they do to support student needs in the region of Halton, and about how folks would be able to assist with the by donating to the Halton Learning Foundation. So all in all, a very, very positive night. Lastly, I have 4 initiatives I want to cover very quickly. Now, these initiatives connect the key foundational elements of the Halton District School Board multi-year strategic plan, such as adaptability, innovation, and engagement. The 4 that I want to provide a little bit of information for tonight is the initiatives titled Reimagine Forward, the Director Speaker Series, the Have Your Say survey, and the budget consultation. Starting with the Reimagine Forward, you as parents would have received information and invitations, as would your students, to participate in the Reimagine Forward initiative. This is an initiative where the Board of Trustees have asked folks to reimagine education and to provide some ideas on moving forward. We're at a point where we have a very distinct opportunity to move forward as we come out of COVID, rethinking how it is school and education could take place. And so what has happened is that there has been a site that has opened up looking for registration by parents, students, members of the community, so that they could register and then offer some of their insights and suggestions. And what we want to emphasize is we want everyone to keep it very positive. We want to hear from everybody on what can be done instead of what shouldn't be done in schools. So keeping that positivity in the messaging, we hope to gather up a lot of information. The Board of Trustees will analyze all of the great ideas and stories beginning May 23rd, and will report back to the Halton District School Board on June the 1st with a sort of a compendium of some of the ideas, and hope to engage discussion at the senior admin level on how we can move forward some of the great ideas that we collect from the community. I had a chance to go aboard the website today. If you haven't gone aboard, please do so. There's already 30 or 40 ideas that have flown, have been inserted into the portal, and there's just some wonderful, great ideas so far. So please engage in that. It's a wonderful opportunity. Second thing I want to talk to you about is the Directors Speakers Series. There was just, in fact, one held this past Tuesday night on the self-determination and anti-colonial practices, Indigenous rights, education, and food sovereignty. This was the 4th in a speaker series, with a 5th one coming up. Other topics that our director has put before the community, and anyone can attend these, have been topics such as the Two-Spirit and transgender awareness, Black excellence today and every day, and anti-Semitism, the longest hatred. The next topic in this series to come our way is on Tuesday, May the 31st, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., and it's on the topic of perspectives on Islam and Islamophobia. And so we welcome everyone to attend that. It's just a wonderful example of how our board is doing the outreach to our communities and helping to engage the community in discussions and in learnings of these very, very important topics. The next thing that I wanted to bring forward was, as you know, the Have Your Say survey has been out and circulated for a number of weeks now. It, in fact, ran from March the 28th to April the 21st, so it's just recently closed. The results are going to be tabulated, and we should see the results coming forward at a Board of Education meeting in the fall. I would like to say that these results are very, very important to the multi-year planning, strategic planning for the board. These results give us a chance to identify opportunities to, in fact, improve schools and ensure that student achievement and well-being are at the center of all we do in the Halton District School Board. So thanks to everyone who may have had that opportunity to participate in that survey. And also already closed as well, I believe, is the consultation with the public on the board's budget for next year. And at the board table, trustees will be reviewing the proposed budget and allocation of resources and monies over the next number of meetings ahead. That's a very important component of our year's work, and it always comes up in the springtime. So we're looking forward to that. That is really a wrap on some of the activities and updates, but I just really wanted to focus on those main four ones, the four that I just outlined, and that is that I really truly believe that our board is really doing a wonderful job of extending itself and involving the community in opportunities to give input and to shape the direction of our board. So I give full marks and kudos to the Director Curtis Ennis, and also to the senior staff who are in support and helping every step of the way. And so that would wrap up the report. Tanya mentioned, I think in a little chat, that she would be not able to participate verbally. And so I open the floor should there be any questions from the parents here in attendance tonight. Thank you.
Jean, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
In regards to the money that you said was being transferred from the ministry, is that money guaranteed? Because I do know, I mean, it's always in the back of my mind, it is an election year. And, you know, if the current government, which has promised those funds to be there to be spent by December, and let's say they're not the same government, you know, after June, is that money still guaranteed, or is that, you know, is it in limbo kind of thing?
Hey, Sherry, that's an excellent question. Any kind of transfer of funds are always tenuous when we have the potential for a change in government. However, I can say this, that 2.85 million of that money has been downloaded and is to be spent between April the 1st and August the 31st. So boards would in fact be already earmarking that money and will have already begun spending that money. The other 2.85 million maybe is a little bit more tenuous, as you have identified. Should we have a change in government, or should the government drop a different education budget? So we'll have to wait and see on the other 2.85 million, but certainly the initial initiative is very, very positive for students and for supporting us to shorten the gaps and bring students along after the almost 3 years that we've just come through. But thank you, Sherry, for that question.
Thanks. I just want to remind, if anybody is watching the live stream, that there was a Google Docs submission form. If anybody who is watching wanted to submit a question, it can be done and submitted live to us. I've been keeping an eye on the form. I haven't seen any questions come in yet, but I just want to remind people that it's there. But it does look like Eamon. If there aren't any other questions or any other updates from the trustees, I would ask if you have your superintendent updates now.
Well, thank you very much, Sherry and Jean. Thank you very much for that very detailed report. I have a very short update, and it was really just around what Trustee Gray shared a little bit about the tutoring supports that are going to be available. So one of the exciting things is that our school board and schools currently applied for funding. They're going to be doing some tutoring supports after school locally at their schools at this time. And then the program departments and the special education department are putting together some wonderful programming for the summer for students across the board as part of that initiative. And the other a very exciting thing as well is that part of those dollars that were given to school boards across the province, a percentage of that, which is approximately 15%, was earmarked to be put out to organizations, not-for-profit organizations that we are currently having a relationship with at the Halton District School Board. And so I've been on a team that's leading that initiative. And so we've reached out to some organizations. They've put some applications forward, and we're in the process of doing that. But the idea would be that some of the community organizations, various organizations that support racialized students and support multiple supports out there with regards to different racial groups and different communities that are going to be putting together tutoring programs, and they put applications forward to support students in after-school programs and in the summers. So the funding isn't available for private tutors. It is for not-for-profit organizations. There will be a RFP that will be put out for the funding that's coming for September. We're in the middle of putting that RFP together right now. And so the request for proposal is the RFP. And we're going to ask organizations all over Halton to apply to those funds that will be coming in the fall. And so it's very exciting, and there's going to be multiple layers of support for tutoring for students. And really, this is about closing the achievement gap that we know the pandemic has impacted some of our students. Others certainly had a number of supports around them, whether it was in the home or different places. And certainly this will be an opportunity for many organizations to support children and schools, as well as the board initiatives that are there. Sorry, you got a question, Trustee Gray?
Thank you, and I hope I'm not interrupting your flow here, but I wanted to also make mention of the fact that some of the money is going to support our Welcome Center and the work that they do in organizing a mentoring opportunity for our newcomer students for the spring and possibly the summer. And that's really important as we begin to see the influx of some of the students from the Ukraine and other areas coming into our communities. So really excited to see that the arrival of that money right at this particular time is going to make a very big difference in what's being able to be offered in support for those students new to our board. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Trustee Gray. I really appreciate you adding that to the piece there. So that's something that is, again, very exciting in terms of supports across our system. And there's lots of great things going on in our board, as you know, a number of schools are engaged in numerous initiatives in athletics and various activities going on throughout the board. So exciting place to be. The other thing that we just wanted to let parents know is that this committee chairs Sherry White and Saad Juman and myself have been engaging in looking for innovative ways to engage more of our parent communities. And so we're looking at different ideas. And certainly one of the ways that we talked about during the PIC reps meeting, they wanted to know about supports that directly, how do we get people to come in and talk to parents about how to support their children directly. So we heard that from them, things around like homework support. How can I help my child with homework? And so we're looking for innovative ways to create that type of information. And so right now we're in dialogue with a few schools. So we've approached a school currently, Robinson. They have a video and television production studio. It's a class, it's a program that they have running at the school. And so one of the things that we're talking to them about right now is how do we create a parent channel where the students would help edit, support this work, and then we would be able to interview various people. So that would be relevant information. So if it's around graduation time, for example, we might be able to bring in former graduates, students that are currently in university or other post-secondary institutions, and then bring them back to share information. And then those sessions would be recorded and posted on our page. So we're currently working on that space right now. And we're engaging with the schools. So we look to do this in a number of schools because there are other schools in our board, and we're hoping to find a school in each quadrant of our board. So in Milton, in Halton Hills, and in Oakville and Burlington, trying to find schools that support such programming to really highlight and showcase those schools as well and the great work, and give students the experiences of engaging in real life, meaningful, impactful work that will help us engage families and students and build student achievement. So that's one of the things that we're currently working on. And I see that Andrea has a question. Go ahead, Andrea.
Thank you. I wanted to say that I'm glad that parents are bringing that forward, because that is one of the important reasons that we had the PIC conference, is because we had those workshops available, and moving forward, hopefully we can get back into that part, because that's one of the things that the parents came out for, is that piece where they're trying to kind of bring the learning home, and then how do I help my student to do this, and how do I help my student to that, and to understand what the board is doing to help your students too. So I'm glad that parents brought that forward. I just wanted to mention that because the PIC conference was such a huge part of helping that move forward.
Well, thank you very much for that, for highlighting that, Andrea. And indeed, parents did share that they enjoy the presentations when presenters come, but they want real concrete things on how to help their children at home as well, and how to engage with their children in ways so that they can be successful. So that if there isn't any other questions, that really concludes my SO report. One of the things we talked about during the planning of this meeting was that we're very respectful and mindful that approximately at this time, in another 5 minutes or so, as we know, it's Ramadan and people are fasting, and so this is about the time that they break their fast and they have their al-fطr. And so we wanted to give them the opportunity also to engage in a meal with their family this evening. So Sherry, I'll hand that back to you.
Thank you. Yes, and Saud, are you still here? Or I know he was going to.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had any closing remarks either. I know you are anxious to break your fast as well.
No, I'll let you take it home.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for their reports. Jean, thank you very much. Tanya, it was nice to see you. Glad you were able to get home safely. And our next meeting is going to be on May the 26th. Of course, the link and the agenda will be sent out before the meeting. And this meeting has been recorded and minutes will be sent out shortly after as well. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, bye everyone.
Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Tanya, great to see you.
Nice to see you too.